in Nigeria with a view to ascertaining how policies and government agencies can achieve prompt and effective disaster management. Today on Panorama from Port Harcourt Network Center. I am Dibabari Sidoma Weke. Welcome. General of Police, IGP Usman Alkali Baba, has recommended the immediate suspension of the head of Police Intelligence Response Team, DCP Abakari, from the service of the Nigerian Police Force, pending the outcome of an ongoing internal investigations. The IGP further noted that suspension is also expected to create an enabling environment for the investigation panel to carry out its investigation in the weighty allegations against DCP Abakari without interference. The four-man special investigation panel, comprising 4 senior police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department, DIG Joseph Ebunike, a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, CP Frank Mba, said the IGP has reaffirmed the commitment of the force to the rule of law and assured the public of the sanctity of the probe, as well as the absolute respect for the rights and privileges of the officer throughout the period of the investigation. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahaya, has challenged officers and men of Nigerian Army 6th Division to be professional in their conduct with a promise to reward those that are hardworking in their service to the nation. Lieutenant General Yahaya said this on his maiden visit to the 6th Division, where he unveiled a number of projects. Kingsley Amadi reports.
Chief of Army Staff is visiting 6th Division for the first time since assumption of office. He met with senior officers and men of the 6th Division. Of the key priority to the Chief of Army Staff is national security, which he tasked officers and men of the division to be exemplary in their conduct and warned of severe consequences for acts of indiscipline.
My maiden operations visit to 6th Division to see firsthand and interact with the troops and also assess the operational readiness and operations being conducted by 6th Division. And like you all observe, they have done quite well and they have been able to a great extent stabilize this crisis that are happening here. And they are even continuing in that regard.
The Chief of Army Staff equally seized the occasion to unveil 2 renovated accommodation blocks of 2 flats each, a fire truck and a waste disposal van acquired by the 6th Division in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
In a bid to secure the nation's maritime domain, the Nigerian Navy recently embarked on a sea exercise from Bonny through Akasa and on to the Gulf of Guinea. This is to tackle the rising cases of kidnapping, sea piracy, among other criminalities. Gabriel Lamonike brings us the command exercise at sea.
This is the return to harbour on completion of the 3-day sea inspection exercise to assess the eastern and central corridors of the Nigerian Navy and its sea capabilities. It was a busy day for the flag officers commanding Central and Eastern Naval Commands and other naval personnel who were on the lookout for suspicious movements at sea that might constitute a breach.
We're in place stationing speed of 4 knots. We commence immediately.
The 3-day exercise included vessels boarding, search and seizures, launching and recoveries, high-speed feed, maneuvers exercise, amongst others.
The essence is for us to collaborate together such that wherever they are, whether they are within the eastern or the central zone, we'll be able to get them.
The 3 helicopters and 8 warships took part in the exercise. The exercise at sea is to keep the naval fleet and personnel in shape for emerging security challenges in the Nigerian maritime environment. In Port Harcourt, Gabriel Amunike, NTA News.
Former President of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, has advocated for unity among Ijaw people to foster rapid development in the region. He was speaking during a consultative meeting with the leadership of the Ijaw National Congress in Yanagwa. Doris Akmoye has details.
Leadership of the Ijaw National Congress and famous socio-cultural organization of the Niger Delta people after its successful election visited the former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, to tap from his wealth of experience and ideas. Dr. Jonathan, while receiving the leadership, sought for peace among Ijaw people, as no meaningful development can thrive in an atmosphere of rancor. The former president stressed the need to have a central Ijaw language which will be passed to the younger generation while pledging his support for the activities of the IONC.
And bring IOIC together, we must have one common IOIC, we must have one common IMC. And yes, we may have our differences, but we must all look towards the interests of the Ijaw ethnic nationality.
Earlier president of the INC, Professor Benjamin Okaba, said they are on a solidarity visit to the former president to seek his support. He advocated for the creation of additional Ijaw states, funding for the organization. Other issues presented by the INC president is rejection of the 3% for host communities in the PIB bill and call for resources justice, among others.
We are not satisfied with the decision of Senate or the PIB. And we are also told that the water resources bill is on the way. These are obnoxious to our people.
Doris Akomonye, NTA News.
World Congress for the All Progressive Congress APC were held nationwide on Saturday. Mie Ogidi, who compiled reports across the state, say some contested, others through consensus.
Representatives from 484 wards in Kano State gathered. Smiles on almost all the faces. Sign of unity and consensus was the mood adopted in choosing the ward ESCOs in a procedural manner.
I'm happy to see that all the procedures have been followed. All necessary documents are available.
Pictures tell the location. Truly a ward congress. The leaders meet the foot soldiers in Nasarawa State, and the process concluded quite early because it was consensus.
And see for yourself how the people have applauded the process.
In Kwara State, two factions conducted the congresses, one for Abdullahi Samari and another for Bashiru Bunlariwa. But consensus was adopted in both factions, and party faithful came out with their membership cards in solidarity to the faction where the loyalty lies.
That it is a success story that we've been hearing all through.
The process of Congress today, I'm sure happy.
In Adamawa State, it's not one accord, but a contest. 6,102 delegates on the queues to elect officials for the 226 wards.
It was done successful. No hit, no anything.
Another contest in Ogun State. Security officials keeping an eye. Party faithful came out in mass in choosing who leads.
It is open election, not secret ballots.
First time participating in the APC Congress after his defection, and the Ebonyi State Governor David Omaye is pleased with the conduct of his fellow party members.
The consensus arrangement being demonstrated at the field by way of massive mobilization and election are quite impressive.
For states going for elections, no result out yet, while those for consensus, ESCO members already known. Mie Ogidi, NTA News.
Only there was an effective drainage system and adherence to stipulated building plans, the floods could have been averted. This has over time been the response of many Nigerians in flood-prone areas like River State. When will a minimal or absolute flood-free year be recorded? This, however, remains the big question. Joy Uzo has details.
Disasters are a global phenomenon, whether man-made or natural, has taken a toll on many nations, Nigeria inclusive. Worried by these, countries are therefore strengthening measures to prevent their occurrence, or at best manage them effectively when they occur, to cushion their impact on life and property.
Government at every level in this country should factor in mainstream disaster risk reduction into its planning, both at the national, state, and the local government level.
All the warning that are normally given, especially with respect to flood, with respect to those who have built on waterways, the government and the agencies responsible should do more.
Peculiar disasters, especially in this part of the world, is recurrent flooding, terrorism, farmers-herders crisis, fire outbreaks, human trafficking, and most recently the COVID-19 pandemic. Research indicates that the country has, in the last 4 decades, lost billions of naira to this challenge, prompting a call for a renewed preventive measures geared towards a more holistic management strategy.
Everybody has something to contribute, and when we adopt a whole of nation approach, where everybody is integrated and everybody gives what it has to offer, that's where we can win the war against insecurity.
To ensure that funds are adequately available to tackle any emergency that will come from any of these disasters.
The floods are here again, and many states are already counting losses. Experts are of the opinion that it could have been prevented or effectively managed. It is hoped that their tales of woe will revert to that of joy in the nearest future. In Port Harcourt, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
With me here in the studio to discuss issues of disaster management and prevention is Marcus Ijoma. He is a public affairs commentator. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good to have you.
Okay. Just like we said, disaster management and prevention. What are the man-made factors that predispose us to disaster, and how do we prevent or forestall these disasters happening, to be fire, any kind of disaster at all?
Well, for me, the first thing is the major contributor that we as humans contribute to disaster is our behavioral pattern, our attitude towards nature. Okay. We have needs, and we have to go to nature to solve some of these problems, but we are not moderate about our consumption of our natural resources, and we are, even when we are moderate, we are not scientific about them. You know, we have people going after firewood without planting trees. You have people using plastic without having plans on how to dispose these plastics. Basically, it has to do with our attitude first and foremost. If we change our attitude towards nature, if we change our attitudes towards the environment, if we change our attitude towards one another, disaster will be better averted even before they occur.
Okay, so all we need to do is change our attitude.
Yes, that's the first step. That's the first step, because oftentimes you're going to hear people talk about funding, budgeting, government should do this, government should do that. But even if the attitude of the people who are to implement the budgeting process is not right, it's still going to affect execution. Whether prevention or intervention, either way, we just need to change the orientation. First, we need to improve our value for life and properties. So if we improve that, then we begin to put more importance on this behavioral patterns.
Okay, so how can we ensure effective and efficient disaster management in Nigeria?
First and foremost, as far as Nigeria is concerned, I feel like we haven't done enough in terms of national orientation, in terms of preparing the people for disaster. You know, the typical Nigerian person is religious. So when you tell them something bad is about to happen, say, God forbid, it will never happen, it's not my portion. It's nobody's portion. As a matter of fact, if you are a good student of the good book, he says, Job said, what I fear the most has happened to me. Job did everything to prevent disaster. He gave sacrifice on behalf of his children. He did quite a lot of stuff. But in the end, disaster still came to him. So sometimes you could have a fire extinguisher, your car will still get burnt, but fire extinguisher kind of reduces. It's your first step of curing the fire. But we have markets that don't have proper fire system. We have, people who go to farm without first aid bus. But they are using hoes and machetes and all kinds of farm implements. So these are things that if we put in place, we can minimize and prevent if possible.
Okay. Taking us now to the constraints and then challenges There are challenges, there are constraints of disaster management.
Yeah, the first challenge I see, like I said, is orientation. If we can educate the people more, NTA is doing a lot in terms of this aspect, but NTA alone can't do it. The private media have to come in. Religious organizations have to come in. Civil society group have to come in. Unfortunately, disaster is not a money-making venture. So a lot of people are not interested in registering NGOs in those directions because fundings are not easily flown in like the way it goes when it comes to healthcare and other medical emergencies like HIV, COVID, and what have you. But we need more of that. We need more passionate people who want to solve problems, who want to prevent problems before they happen, who want to see how they can mitigate the effect of this problem on the victims. So we move to the issue of budgeting and funding. How many private sector funds are allocated for disaster management? We know a few companies in Port Harcourt that have 1 or 2 fire trucks that you can call when there's an emergency, but how many more companies want to do that? How many people can go into that? The government doesn't have all the resources to handle everything. The country is large. And sometimes when disasters happen, before you get to the location, the first responders don't even have what it takes to respond. So we all hands must be on deck, and then we can make progress that way.
Okay, and then finally, your final words to stakeholders, government, and then the individuals themselves.
Of course, I don't want to make it a final word. It's something that should be re-echoed every time, because whether we like it or not, disasters will occur. On the part of the government, 2 things need to happen. We need to increase budgets for the disaster management agencies at the federal and at the state level. At the state level, practically nothing happens. You see, notice that most times that when we have disasters like flood, like we had some years back, everybody shouts, oh, the federal government, the federal government, the federal government. And then you're asking yourself, where is the state emergency board? They call them different names in different states, depending on which alphabet starts your state, you know. And then they are not on ground. And if they are on ground, that's the day they are going to buy a bag of rice. That's the day they just remember that they need mattresses and all of that. It shouldn't be that way. Budgetary provisions should be made available. And then on our part as citizens, do we even know the number of the emergency agency for the government? Do I have NEMA's number on my phone? Do I have police number on my phone? A number that if I dial, even if I don't have a recharge card, I will be sure that somebody will pick the call at the other and say, a fire is about to start. Come this way. Then bulk of it has to do with government and then private sector. Government can partner with private sector, give them a bit of tax rebate so that they can put more funds into emergency response. We need helicopters. We don't have them.
Individuals, what happens to them?
Individuals, as Nigerians are good people when it comes to helping one another. When you see disasters, you're going to see people who want to donate foodstuff, churches, organizations, and what have you. But today, our economic power has been weakened. So you will not see so much from individuals, but we still want to encourage those who have to start making such arrangements to see how they can intervene at their own local levels, at the smallest level that they can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus Ijoma, for coming on the program. Thank you very much.
Good to have me. Thank you very much.
You're watching Panorama from Port Harcourt Network Center. We'll take a short break now, and Panorama continues right after the break. Stay with us.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
COVID-19. On the 31st of July 2021, 497 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded in Nigeria. Till date, 173,908 cases have been confirmed, 164,994 cases discharged, and 2,149 deaths have been recorded. The 497 cases are reported from 16 states, and they include Lagos 211, Akwa Ibom 80, Kwara 73, Osun 29, Cross River 15, Edo 14, Oyo and Rivers have 17 cases, Anambra 9, Ogun 8, Ekiti 6, Bayelsa, FCT and Plateau 4 cases each. Bauchi and Nasarawa recorded 2 cases each, while Kaduna and Jigawa have a case each. To reduce the increasing rate of mortality in the contemporary society, the importance of assessing antenatal care, good nutrition and hygiene for pregnant women have been re-emphasized. Obstetrics, gynecologists and other experts brought this to the fore again at the Matter Pregnant Care Outreach of the Family Life Empowerment and Youth Reorientation Part Initiative, an NGO of wife of Akwa Ibom State Governor Mata Udom Emmanuel. Ifeoma Ayikoje has details.
With Nigeria currently accounting for about 20% of global maternal deaths, according to World Health Organization records, Matter Pregnant Care Outreach has intensified efforts to create awareness on safe and improved attitude towards reproductive health and pregnancy care, with the goal of reducing maternal death and infant morbidity, particularly in Akwa Ibom State.
Because some people have not registered in antenatal, so they don't have opportunities to actually hear all this.
Currently, about 2,000 expectant mothers drawn from the 31 local government areas of the state are direct beneficiaries of this project, birthed by wife of Akwa Ibom State Governor Martha Udom Emmanuel.
What really prompted me to start this program was that pregnant women were not going to hospital. They look at the number of you that have gone to hospital, registered in the hospital. That means this program is impacting.
It is a planned program for the health education and management of pregnant women with the aim of making pregnancy and delivery safe.
That food you are eating is going to nurture the baby inside of you.
The latest edition of the outreach addressed myths associated with cesarean section, the place of good hygiene and nutrition, as well as proper antenatal care for improved reproductive health. Every pregnant participant was given Matter Pregnant Care Pack containing relevant delivery materials and baby accessories. In Uyo, Ifeoma Ayikoje, NTA News.
Sports update is next with Olaleko Kilajolu.
Nigeria's Ese Brume on Sunday reached the final of the women's long jump event at the ongoing Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Brume placed fourth with a 6.76-meter jump to claim the final spot in Group B. Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare has again advocated the urgent need for private sector-driven athletes development program and a sports development fund run independent of the government. According to the minister, sports infrastructure in the country needs to be activated and equipped with a cluster of multipurpose sports centers across the country to harness potential world beaters. To football, the 2020-2021 Nigerian Professional Football League season enters match day 37 later on Sunday with 5 matches across various venues in the country. Plateau United will be at home as they welcome Dakada FC, while Abia Warriors travel to Muhammadu Diko Stadium to play Katsina United. All eyes will be at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, where league leaders Akwa United are set to be crowned NPFL champions for the first time in history as they take on MFM FC. The Promise Keepers will need just a point at home to win the league.
It is the team that have been so consistent all season. You look at their results, 4 losses on the road, 11 draws. So can MFM get something the next of champions? It looks like impossible.
The Akwa United vs MFM FC match will be live on the NTA at 4 p.m. with sports updates. Olaleko Kilajolu.